The Maxwell, do you want to talk about the 1.13 release? Yes.
Yeah, I can start off. Hi, everybody. I'm Aish. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce myself. I'll be the 113 release lead for Kubernetes. So which started yesterday. I also sent an email out to Kubernetes dev outlining the schedule and some process things to note for the 113 cycle itself. The main reason I wanted to meet with the various SIGs was to point to your attention that the whole release cycle is super short this time, considering it's the last release of the year, and we have 2 KubeCons and the holidays and everything rolling in. So we just have about 10 weeks to wrap the entire cycle, and we are targeting a release date of December 3rd. That said, I just something that we are not formally doing, but we are trying to talk to the different SIGs and have kind of rally around is to make this release more of a stability release rather than taking in large chunks of new features going into alpha for the first time. This is mainly to de-risk as much as possible and to keep the release on track. While we are not making it very formal, my ask to the SIG leads and to the feature owners is to try and focus more on stability fixes for this release, which could be around landing things that were deferred previously, or focusing on bug fixes, long-standing bugs that you always wanted to get fixed, or increasing the test coverage for your existing features. So again, we'll start the formal feature collection process next Monday. So Kendrick is our features lead. He'll be syncing with you guys more closely. But I just wanted to meet beforehand and ensure that I drive home this point that the release is super short, and I just wanted your help in feature planning accordingly. So any questions around this?
I'll just add one more thing on here. So just looking at the features repo, there are 31 open features right now. Some of them are tagged 112 still. Some of them are tagged for milestone 113. If you are an owner and you know that you have high confidence, go ahead and tag it for this release. If not, let me know. I can tag it for you. If not, then I'll be bugging the hell out of everybody starting next Monday.
Yeah, cool. Any questions around this? Awesome. That's all I wanted to talk about.
So Ash, thank you for coming here. and we are the following item. It is discuss of the RQ4 plan. So welcome to stay, and if you like. So Derek, do you want to talk about? Can we share?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want me to share?
Yeah. Sure. So most working item actually is inherited from the previous planning. So we finished some, and some is still continue, haven't really complete finish, or it is want promotion to the next level, next phase. So did you on the video is on? Because I cannot join. So okay, yeah. So
can everyone see? What is this?
I can see your screen just fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. So maybe not every. So right after this meeting, I'm going to share with the SIG Node. I thought I shared with the SIG Node already, but it looks like maybe it's not. So anyway, so the first one we have the node management, like the every release phase, and the most it is first thing it is too efficient node heartbeat. And to implement that one, so we have the design. Unfortunately, last quarter, Tofen is busy, so and both Tofen and the Jen is busy, so we didn't finish this work. And this quarter, we promote this to the P0, and we are going to finish this one to achieve our scalability goal. So another one is refactory of the node lifecycle controller and remove all the dependency, the cloud provider dependency to the, and so we could remove to move our cloud provider code to the separate repository. So this work, it is owned by the Mactofin this quarter, and so there's the help on the API server, API machinery teams. So Patrick, do you want to talk about Windows support?
Yeah, sure. So we're continuing the stability push and working on getting the test PRs that are needed merged. So one of the first ones was actually merged, and that was needed so we could point the tests to the appropriate Windows container images. And then the next one that we're using for actually scheduling the periodic jobs on Azure is in review right now. And then once that's merged, then we just need the ones on the updates in Prow and Test Grid, so that way the results will be showing up there. But basically, our focus for 13 from SIG Windows is continue removing stability and conformance blockers. We need to get that declared stable before we go and start adding new features. So.
Yeah, there's some other item in the SIG network and some other item in the SIG storage, right? But anyway, our goal it is we try to get a Windows GA for this reason.
Yeah, and then that network stats PR that I have linked there was carried over from 12, and so that's you're going with Aisha's recommendation. I mean, that's just finishing out our network stats, but it had a minor change to the network stats API, so it was deferred from 12. So since the code's done, we'd like it in 13, but that's the only one that I have marked as a feature for 13 right now. The rest should be bug fix scope. So.
Cool. So let's move to next one. Let's move to the security. Security, and the security, it is team. Team, are you here? Okay. So team and I have the offline discussing, and so we go over all those runtime class, the pending items, and there's the huge amount of those things, and among all those kind of things we identify, we want to be giving the Q4 is the short holiday, and also there's the 2 KubeCon coming, and so we identify one work, it is P1, it is the design and implement runtime aware scheduling in Kubernetes, for Kubernetes. And also we identified one more item, it is we hope someone from the community can volunteer to take over. It is dynamically register or provision additional runtime, for example, for Windows and the runtime, and also for the cloud. So you want so all those kind of if you want to have the special like the features and you want to provision different runtime, and so even without those kind of things, we still could cluster admin could be manually set up those kind of things. So we make this as a P2, but there's many people ask for, can we make this as dynamic register? And so that's why I promote this to here and ask Mark as the help leader. Then the next one, it is enable the user namespace support. Derek, do you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, I mean, so this is been gated on just getting final API review agreement. We'd like to keep trying to push this as much as we can through the remainder of the year, because obviously a lot of the original engineering investment had been made. So I'm hoping we can line up with the API review updates and close on them this release. And so, yeah, we'll keep pushing ahead on that one. So, yeah, as I said previously, we didn't make the previous release, and we're going to keep pushing for the present.
So So next one, it is the resource management one. So this in this quarter, we only promote one to the P2, which is the design for in-place update pod or continuous request. So this is being like the non-time request from the auto scaling team, and they want for the vertical pod the auto scaling. So we sign on to help them to design, especially on the node, because this will affect of the entire of the workload of the SIG group tree. So there's a lot of detail. So we are working together with other scaling team. So on this one.
So on this section, Don, I know you and I didn't get a chance to sync up too much before today's meeting, but I anticipate that Red Hat will want to continue to iterate on the ability to use XFS quota to do local disk tracking, and so I'll supplement that here. And then also I'd like to give folks from Intel a chance to potentially look to see what appetite they have in this release to then support evolving the demonstration they showed previously.
Totally.
I don't know, Connor, if you guys have capacity this release cycle.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we'd really like to push that forward. I think it's an enhancement that benefits two existing features, CPU pinning and device plugins, and I think we've got a lot of support. So I guess the question is how that fits into the stability release story. That's maybe a question for you and Don. But yeah, as far as capacity, I think we can dedicate resources to do it. I think Luis is on the line too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a little bit. Yes, that's actually I do think about both of the disk quota and also the work you get done, the NUMA related stuff, and I think we can both make progress in Q4. And the only thing it is we need to talk about in detail. It is how we include those kind of things, like the same thing for the in-place update, pod and content request. All we sign on here, it is just design. We didn't really try to do the really include any implementation in this Q4 release at this moment. So
I think we can shake out the details on that, Don. Like, in fairness, we could also make the same commitment that we'd close on design for the work that Intel's been pushing as well in Q4, and then see how far we get with a alpha style implementation. But I do think that we should figure out a way that we can appropriately allow progress while not introducing too much risk.
Yeah, we can talk about more. Okay, yes, I will definitely include those two here, and then we can talk about what it is the objective we want to shoot in Q4. Yep. Then think about Q1 and the Q2, whatever. So last area, it is monitoring, logging, and debuggability, and which it is we are continue finish our debug pod alpha, and we finally have the API agreement, and now it is the finished implementation. And the last one, it is the monitoring. And David, do you want to talk the monitoring?
Sure, yeah, this is just what I had proposed previously at SIG Node that carried over from 112. I'm hoping to wrap up that design and settle on something, and hopefully get an alpha implementation for GPU metrics in the 113 timeframe.
Yep, and I know, David, I was due to take a look at your updates, and I'll look to get that done this week.
Yeah, wait a day or two. I have one thing that Vish suggested to me that I'd like to look into first.
All right, then I don't feel so bad for having not looked in the last 3 days. So thanks for the heads up.
Thanks, Derek.
So the people may notice that this time there's nothing related to the container runtime or application management. And because given is we want to do the stable release, so I didn't include any things change in that area. But of course, there's the bug and there's the issue we are going to continue support and also help the qualify. And for example, And we are going to still help to quantify the container D1.2. And also, I believe the CRI also have the new release, and the community will help to quantify those kind of things. And in the release notes, we are going to include those kind of things. We also have the people ask for the Docker, the latest release, and include of the PGZ, because the people talk about those kind of things. And there's the effort, and the people want to quantify of the Docker release, and please help us. Just raise your hand and say, oh, I want to help you to quantify the latest of the Docker. So we could aggregate of those information and publish to the community, the test result to the community. Guys, anything to add here?
Yeah, nothing from my end other than the two items we discussed, which I'm sure we can come to some consensus on. But I think given the timelines and understanding like how short Q4 is and holidays and conferences, and personally, I'd like to avoid having to review too much on like a Thanksgiving holiday like last year. So hopefully people can appreciate the desire to keep things tight. And so, yeah, this seems completely appropriate to me.
Any more questions? Any other missing here? Okay, so this is all the plan of the agenda for today. So any other things people want to bring up unrelated of the planning? Any?
I'll just give a heads up. I don't know if Yuju is there or not, but Mernal and I have been working to try to reduce the number of flakes that we see when running our own OpenShift CI, which also runs kube conformance test on a variety of container runtimes. And so, you might see a few PRs that we've been opening to either tweak timeouts or to try to improve the quality of our tests. Where like we still have cases in our testing code where we make a call and then we look for an event to have been reported right afterwards, rather than just doing appropriate things like wait and try multiple times before airing a test. So if people see Renal and I opening PRs, just understand it's our efforts to improve the quality of our testing, especially on issues that we're seeing in the Red Hat infrastructure. So, but hopefully everyone can appreciate that it's just trying to make tests better.
Sure. Thanks for the heads up. And thank you for the effort to improve our test.
Yeah, we have a number of tests that are, maybe we can talk about this very briefly. We have a number of tests that assume like a fixed timeout time, which doesn't allow any variability around, in some ways those times are arbitrary. So like in some cases, like we had a pod start timeout that was 1 minute in our CI infrastructure. It was taking 1:15. And either we were running different instance types or a network was loaded or we were hitting a cloud quota problem that I didn't know like if as a group we could talk through a future way that we can make more of these fixed times tunable without changing the code, because I think it'd be useful for folks who run conformance tests and stuff like that in a variety of deployment architectures, that sometimes the time assumptions we make are not always the best, but
I think that what you talk is really useful, especially for, I believe, Patrick definitely interesting, because some of our tests definitely cannot run on the Windows, but there are certain tests can run on the Windows, but it may have you have to send a different parameter. So if make that our test, yeah, so we could go through all those kind of things. Maybe we could, I don't know how to run those kind of things. We could have, maybe we can aggregate all the information and through some shared document or with spreadsheet or whatever. So what kind of tests that we can improve. we run that this kind of idea a while back, like 2 years ago, in the GK node team internally, and I'm not sure how efficient we can run among the community. Like, okay, we have the spreadsheet, and for different tasks, and then working out the things we can approve, and then improve, and then we can have the choose one day as the fix it for the team, and then everyone just choose what kind of things to do, like the random item they just choose, and then we just finish those for the 2 days, and then compare off the metrics and define what's the success metrics, how to measure, and then so then we run those kind of things together, and then look at. So I don't know how to run this. I just threw this idea because we used to run this internally. That's much easy because everybody sit on the big round table.
Mm-hmm.
Then we talk to each other. First, of course, someone have to say, oh, here's the proposal, and then share with people. And the people add more ideas there, and then we just work for the 2 days.
Yeah. Well, either way, then, just for a heads up, I think, I don't know if Renald's on the phone, but we kept getting hit by the same 7 flakes, and I think we've exhausted the set of PRs we were looking to get up open upstream. So I don't think that any more will be there. But just so I know Yuju had a question, like this was the context from which we were coming from, which was
sure.
Our timeouts are not very flexible for different deployment architectures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe we should have this kind of stuff in a benchmark suite rather than a conformance suite.
You eventually need to wait long enough. It's not even always just a conformance suite. It's like if the image pool time varies slightly at all, then sometimes we would hit our threshold, right? Like between a 1 minute thing versus a 1 minute and 5 second thing. And
I think we try and pre-pull images, but
yeah, I think that I saw the one judge coming recently and get rid of that pre-pull image. That's caused the sound flaking.
okay.
Someone just get rid of the pre-pull image recently.
Yeah, or we've also had issues where, like I said, we've had tests that say create a pod that uses a PVC and then immediately look for the presence of an event. And as we all know, events can get delivered lately afterwards. So, and then I did hit a weird issue where we run a lot of build pods in our OpenShift CI system, which are basically a bunch of run once, never restart pods, which we don't seem to do a lot in the upstream CI. And there we were hitting weird flakes where the kubelet would actually try to restart a pod sandbox after all the containers in that pod had ran to completion. But that was the only area where I saw like a logic problem that we had in the code that did merge and get fixed. So anyway, we're just trying hard to get our CI in better shape. And so if folks see a few others, that's context. So anyway, that's all I have for today, but thank you.
Okay. Any other things? So okay, looks like we have half hour back to our life. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.